Our story kicks off with Lara Croft, a badass adventurer extraordinaire, hauling through a dense jungle with a whole tribe of angry villagers on her tail. They're not exactly rolling out the welcome mat, as arrows whiz past her head while she ducks and weaves through the underbrush. Just when it looks like the villagers might catch up, Lara spots a gap in the mountain ahead. Without missing a beat, she takes a running leap across the chasm. The villagers skid to a stop, watching in disbelief as she clears the gap. They exchange glances and retreat back into the jungle, knowing they're outmatched. Catching her breath on the other side, Lara pulls out a well-worn map and scrambles up to the mountain peak. Her eyes scan the horizon until she spots it, the house of the jaguar. A grin spreads across her face as she keys her radio. "Uncle Roth, I found it." As Lara approaches the ancient structure, it's clear this place doesn't roll out the red carpet for visitors. The path is littered with nasty traps, spiked pits and rickety bridges. But our girl's got skills. She vaults over the pits and uses her trusty rope to swing across gaps. It's all going smoothly until she takes an unexpected dip in a river. Before Lara can catch her breath, she feels something brush against her leg. An alligator decides she looks like a tasty snack and clamps down on her leg, dragging her under. For a moment, it looks bad, but Lara's not going down that easy. She whips out her dagger and, after a brief underwater wrestling match, emerges victorious, and slightly bloodied. Soaking wet and limping slightly, Lara finally reaches the entrance to the house of the jaguar. As she steps inside, a wave of emotion washes over her. "Wish you could see this, Dad," she whispers, her voice tinged with a mixture of pride and sadness. Inside the ancient structure, Lara meets up with her Uncle Roth. They share a quick hug before turning their attention to the prize, a small pedestal in the center of the room. As they approach, Lara's practically bouncing with excitement. She turns to Roth and informs him of the story behind the treasure. "Anyone who touches this thing is supposed to get filthy rich overnight." Roth chuckles as he goes to pull out the box, but Lara pauses, noticing some ominous-looking carvings on the wall. Unsure, she informs Roth, but he waves off her concerns, saying they were just old superstitions. Besides, he adds, "We've come too far to back out now." Just as they're about to grab the artifact, revealed to be a Chinese jade stone, all hell breaks loose. The villagers from earlier burst in, waving spears and shouting warnings about death and destruction. Roth, ever the optimist, decides the best course of action is to fight their way out. What follows is a knockdown, drag-out brawl. Despite being outnumbered, Lara and Roth manage to fight their way through and escape with the stone, their hearts racing with adrenaline and triumph. Fast forward 3 years, and things have changed dramatically. We find Lara in a small Peruvian village, getting beaten down in a fight. But flashes of her Uncle Roth's death fuel her to fight back and win. The victory is bittersweet, though, as we learn that Roth didn't survive their last adventure. He was killed after they retrieved the artifact, leaving Lara devastated and adrift. Since then, Lara's been avoiding her friends, lost in her grief. Her buddy Jonah calls, begging her to come home. He reminds her that she promised to spend Christmas with them and tries to convince her to let her friends help her heal. But Lara, still not ready to face her pain, refuses and hangs up on him. Just then, Lara witnesses a ritual of a woman who lost her husband. The widow burns all her husband's things in hopes of a fresh start, and an idea begins to form in Lara's mind. A month later, we find Lara back at her father's mansion. She's in full Marie Kondo mode, gathering up all the artifacts she, her father, and Roth collected over the years. Her plan? Burn it all to the ground. New year, new Lara. Just as she's about to strike the match, her friends Jonah and Zip burst in, looking surprised to see her. Turns out they've been playing security guard while she was gone. Zip asks Lara why she's back at her dad's house, and she replies flatly, starting over. She explains her plan to burn her father's properties, hoping it'll help her forget her past. But Jonah, ever the voice of reason, suggests a less pyromaniacal approach. Why not auction these off instead, he proposes, pointing out that she could make some money from the artifacts. Plus, not destroying priceless artifacts is generally considered a good thing. Reluctantly, Lara agrees. Fast forward to a swanky donation gala where Lara's decided to donate her family's collection to the local museum. As the auction's about to kick off, she sneaks away for some alone time. But trouble has a way of finding Lara Croft. Just as she's about to give a speech at the event, a man approaches her and cryptically tells her that all she's doing is trying to make her pain stop, which would be hard. The brief conversation leaves Lara feeling unsettled. Shaken by the encounter, Lara leaves the auction and goes into hiding inside a rack shift at her father's mansion, memories of her time with Roth flooding back. Her moment of reflection is cut short when she spots a masked intruder trying to steal the jade stone. She confronts him, but he's as skilled as she is, and after a scuffle, he escapes on a motorcycle. Lara, her determination rekindled, jumps into a car and races after him. She calls Zip for help, and he tracks the thief's location. The chase leads them down increasingly narrow streets. When the car can't fit, Lara doesn't miss a beat. She leaps out, grabs a nearby bicycle, and keeps on pedaling. But despite her best efforts, the thief manages to escape via boat. As he speeds away, he removes his mask, revealing a face Lara recognizes from the gala. Back at the mansion, Lara's in full research mode. She discovers that the jade stone isn't just a pretty paperweight, it's one of 4 magical stones, each with its own power. The jade stone, it turns out, can control minds. A neat party trick, but probably not great in the wrong hands. Zip manages to track the thief's location. He's headed to Beijing. Lara's ready to hop on the next flight, though Jonah begs her to stay. But Lara can't let it go. This was the last thing she and Roth found together, and she's determined to get to the bottom of it. With a heavy heart but a steely resolve, she leaves for Beijing. Lara touches down in Beijing, following the tracking signal. But things aren't adding up. The signal's gone dark in the middle of nowhere. A chatty boat captain fills her in on local lore, mentioning fishing villages, old ruins, and the shrine of the great Emperor Tian Xing. Legend says the gods gave him a magical ruby to make China great. But then a fox spirit seduced him, stole his powers, and nearly destroyed everything. Lara's ears perk up. A magical ruby? It sounds an awful lot like the second stone. Her instincts tell her she's on the right track. At the village, Lara's not exactly welcomed with open arms. The village elder eyes her suspiciously, gathering a group of tough-looking locals. Just when things are about to get ugly, Jonah appears out of nowhere, smooth-talking the elder and diffusing the situation. Lara's surprised but grateful for his unexpected support. The elder agrees to help, but there's a catch. Her 6 children have gone missing, and she believes the fox spirit is to blame. If Lara wants a guide to the shrine, she'll have to find the kids first. Never one to back down from a challenge, Lara agrees. Lara and Jonah venture into a nearby cave system. No sooner have they entered than they're attacked by what can only be described as a demon. They manage to escape, only to stumble upon an ancient wall painting. Lara, her archaeological instincts kicking in, deciphers the images. The fox spirit didn't steal the ruby out of greed, she realizes. She was trying to protect the emperor from its influence. She gave it to a group of nuns to hide away forever. They find an ornate box, empty. Before they can process this, the cave starts to collapse. Lara spots a ghostly child and, against all common sense, follows it deeper into the cave. They find the missing children, gathered around an ancient coffin. They're in some kind of trance. Lara realizes with a start that the fox spirit used the kids as bait. Against Jonah's protests, Lara decides to open the coffin. As she does, the fox spirit is released, and the cave fills with lava. The fox spirit, grateful for her freedom, shows them a way out. Once they're safe, she appears to Lara in her true form, thanks her, and vanishes, leaving Lara with more questions than answers. With the children safely returned, Lara and Jonah board a boat, ready to continue their quest. But Mother Nature has other plans. A freak storm capsizes their vessel, and Lara wakes up alone on a beach. Fearing the worst for Jonah, she calls Zip with the bad news. He begs her to come home, but Lara's determined to see this through. She needs to know why these stones are so important. Zip, being the loyal friend he is, hops on a plane to Beijing to help out. Lara and Zip's next stop is the Beijing base of the library, an international guild that deals in artifacts. Lara trades a mystical sword for information on the 4 stones, now known as the Peril Stones. The manager, Eva, spins quite a tale. Before life as we know it, chaos and order were at war. The goddess Nua brought balance, allowing humans to be created. But humans, being humans, got greedy and violent. To save the world, Nua trapped mankind's 4 greatest evils, power, wrath, greed, and betrayal, in 4 gemstones. She scattered them across the world to maintain balance. Eva's eyes go wide as she delivers the chilling warning: if the Peril Stones are brought together, it could mean the end of the world as we know it. The gravity of their quest suddenly becomes clear to Lara and Zip. Over lunch, Zip uncovers some interesting info. A particular family name keeps popping up in criminal records going back centuries. There are rumors of a curse, and a father who killed his children claiming his wife made him do it with magic jewelry. Lara puts 2 and 2 together. The ruby stone, she realizes. It's in their daughter's possession now. Lara decides to do what any reasonable person would do, break into the heavily guarded mansion of a potentially cursed family to steal a magical stone. But she's not the only one after the stone. The masked thief from the auction shows up, introducing himself as Charles. Turns out, he's got big plans for the Peril Stones. Charles wants to rule the world using the stones. Lara tries to talk some sense into him, telling him the stones together will only bring chaos. But Charles just smirks, warning Lara to stay out of his way or he'll kill her. Despite Charles's warning, Lara proceeds with her plan. She scales the mansion walls and spots the daughter, Ka, wearing the ruby stone. Ka's eyes are glowing an ominous red. Lara creates a distraction by releasing the family's pet tigers. In the chaos, she manages to snatch the stone from Ka. But the moment Lara touches the stone, something changes. She becomes aggressive, stronger. She takes out guard after guard with brutal efficiency. It's only when she sees blood on her hands that she snaps out of it, horrified by what she's done. Ka, now freed from the stone's influence, actually thanks Lara, commanding her to take it away from her lands. Just as Lara thinks she's in the clear, Charles shows up again. This time, he's got company, Jonah. But something's off. Jonah's eyes are glassy red, his movements robotic. Using Jonah as a puppet, Charles takes the ruby stone from Lara. He combines it with the jade stone, causing a massive explosion that knocks Lara unconscious. Lara wakes to find the city in chaos. Charles, drunk on the stone's power, is wreaking havoc. His motivation becomes clear, revenge against a secret society called The Light that killed his father. Lara realizes she needs more information about this society if she's going to stop Charles. She turns to an old friend, Camila, an Interpol agent. Camila fills Lara in on the Light. They're descendants of the Knights Templar. They've been quietly amassing power for centuries, removing anyone who might challenge them. A bit of digging reveals that Charles's father, Deo, was a priest murdered by the Light 40 years ago. Lara and Camila investigate Deo's old church, uncovering a secret passage. As they explore, Lara experiences strange visions of her childhood. They're attacked by cultists but manage to fight them off, their teamwork proving formidable. Lara pieces together the clues. The third stone, the Golden Peril Stone, was hidden in the church. But Charles has already taken it. Racing against time, Lara heads to Iran, where she believes the fourth and final stone is hidden. She arrives just in time to see a massive explosion. Charles has found the stone and combined it with the others. Lara spots Charles on a train and gives chase. She manages to board, only to find all the passengers, including Jonah, are under Charles's mind control. In a tense confrontation, Lara manages to knock the stones from Charles's hand, freeing Jonah from his control. They escape the train, but the battle is far from over. Jonah, his memory still fuzzy from being under Charles's control, remembers one crucial detail. He's going to Zulu for the final stone, the Stone of Greed. Research reveals that Zulu was the site of an ancient battle between three brothers vying to be Emperor of China. One brother possessed a black stone that made him incredibly powerful. Lara and Jonah arrive at the battle site, only to find a theme park. An ancient battlefield, now with cotton candy and roller coasters. But all is not lost. A tour guide unknowingly provides a vital clue: the Emperor's tomb lies beneath the golden ancestral tree. After some detective work, and getting kicked out of the theme park, Lara and Jonah discover the actual battle site. They solve an intricate puzzle involving the Chinese zodiac, only to be teleported to Mongolia. They've arrived just in time to see Charles merge all four stones. The power overwhelms him, transforming him into a monstrous beast. In the heat of battle, Lara manages to grab the red stone. Remembering the advice of the goddess Noah from her visions, she finds balance within herself, allowing her to use the stone without being corrupted. Together with Camila and her Interpol team, Lara faces off against the transformed Charles. It's an epic battle of good versus evil, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. In the end, Lara emerges victorious. Charles is arrested, the immediate threat neutralized. But Lara knows her work isn't done. With Jonah by her side, she embarks on one final journey, to return the Peril Stones to their rightful place on Kunlun Mountain, where the goddess Noah first created them. As they climb the mountain, they're surrounded by impossible beauty, flowers and animals thought extinct for millions of years. Finally, they reach Noah's temple, and Lara carefully places each stone back in its proper place. As the last stone settles into position, a wave of energy pulses outward. The world, thrown into chaos by the misuse of the stones, begins to rewrite itself. Lara and Jonah share a smile. Another adventure completed, another disaster averted. But in Lara's line of work, you never know what's waiting around the next corner. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more recaps like this. Thank you for watching.